The alien ship burned as it fell through Earth's sky. Flames lit up the clouds. People screamed. Sirens wailed. But one voice cut through the chaos. A voice full of pain and rage. This is what happens when you mess with humans. 10 hours earlier, the sky was clear. Life was normal. High above the planet, in Earth's orbit, a dark fleet waited. These ships didn't broadcast peace. They didn't ask for permission. They came to judge. From the alien flagship, a cold mechanical voice echoed through every hacked satellite and radio tower. This world is unstable, primitive, violent. It must be tested. Resistance will be crushed. And then the first beam hit London. In seconds, buildings became dust. The war had begun. Not far from the burning cities, light years away on Trell Station, a human moved through an alien crowd like a ghost. His name was Drake Holloway. Tall, muscular and armed, he wore black mercenary armor. His blonde hair was slicked back. A scar cut across his right eyebrow. His eyes, sharp, blue, and always watching, had seen too many wars. He wasn't here to fight. Not yet. Not until he had a reason. Trell Station was loud, dirty, dangerous. A giant space marketplace filled with aliens from 100 systems. Some barked. Some clicked. Some had 10 arms. All of them talked too much. Bargaining, arguing, threatening each other with claws, tentacles, or worse. But Drake ignored the chaos. He had come for one thing. No, one person. In the far corner of the marketplace, hidden behind a stall selling broken tech and ancient junk, stood her, Nera. She wasn't human. But she looked more human than most aliens Drake had met. Her skin was emerald green, glowing faintly under the artificial lights. Two long, leather-like tentacles framed her delicate face, and her silver hair was tied back beneath a worn black hood. Her clothes were torn, her stole half broken, but her eyes were strong. Sad but strong, she saw him and smiled. "You're early," she said. Her voice was smooth, musical, softer than the metal sounds of the market. "I heard a war might be starting," Drake said with a grin. "Thought I'd stop by before the end of the world." She laughed, but there was a quiet ache in it. "Still buying useless trinkets, human?" "They're not useless to me." She tilted her head. "You always say that. You never say why." Drake picked up a carved crystal from her stole. It was cracked, worthless to most, but he saw something in it. "Professional secret," he said. A voice growled from behind the counter. Thick, ugly, Gorth, her boss. The slug-like alien waddled forward. 3 eyes blinking out of sync. "Don't flirt with him, girl. He won't mate with you." "No one will." "Not even your own kind," Nera stiffened. Drake didn't move. "Yet. She's just an orphan," Gorth sneered. "She sells junk because that's all she's good for." Drake's eyes locked on the creature. His voice dropped to a quiet, dangerous level. "Careful." Gorth snorted. "Or what? You'll shoot me over her?" "She's not worth it." Drake stepped closer. "Try me." But Nera stepped between them. "Let it go," she said quietly. Without waiting, she grabbed a few items and walked into the back alley behind the stall. She looked over her shoulder. "Walk with me." Drake followed. Away from the noise, the air felt colder. The light dimmer. She set the items down and sighed. "He's not wrong," she whispered. "I am an orphan. I've been alone since I was 3. Nobody wants to be tied to someone with no future." Drake leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "That's not how we see things where I'm from." "Earth?" she asked. "Yeah, must be nice," Drake shrugged. "Nice is overrated. Gets lonely out there." Nera looked down. "I always thought being human must feel powerful." Drake laughed once. "You should see us in battle." She looked up. "I have." A pause. Quiet. Heavy. Then her voice, almost a whisper. "Would you ever take someone with you? Someone like me?" Drake looked at her. Truly looked, and something shifted inside him. His comm unit buzzed. His ship AI spoke. "Incoming contract offer. High threat. High pay. Accept?" He looked at Nera, at her stall, at the cruel world that had forgotten her. Then he pressed decline. Reschedule. Delay departure until next cycle. "Warning. Delay may reduce payment," the AI replied. Drake smiled to himself. "Some things," he said quietly, "are worth more than credits." Far above them, in Earth's orbit. The alien fleet prepared their next strike. They didn't know that one mercenary had just chosen a side. And soon, they'd learn what happens when you mess with humans. It started with a rumor. In the dark alleys of Trell Station, whispers floated like smoke. A human mercenary keeps visiting the orphan girl's stall. He doesn't buy weapons, just junk. Some say he's fallen for her. Foolish. No one mates with a broken salary like her. But rumors meant little to Drake Holloway. He didn't come for the junk, he came for her. The market was even louder than before. Alien traders shouted. Neon lights flickered. Someone chased a thief through the stalls. A two-headed vendor argued with himself. Chaos everywhere. But Drake's path was steady, calm, like a man on a mission. He passed weapon stalls, black market tech shops, and spice vendors. All ignored. His eyes searched only for one thing, and then, there she was, behind the same old stall. Surrounded by carved bones, cracked crystals, and broken jewelry. Nera, she was adjusting a shelf. One of her head tentacles flicked in irritation as she fought with a tangled necklace. Her emerald skin shimmered under the station lights. Her hood was torn. Her black outfit looked even more worn than last time. But her silver hair, still beautiful, her eyes, still held that strange sadness he couldn't forget. You again, she said without turning, already knowing it was him. Drake leaned on the counter, pretending to inspect a glowing shard. Miss me? You missed another war, she replied, smirking. Humans always show up late. Not always, he said, picking up a smooth bone pendant. Sometimes we arrive just in time, she smiled. Just a little. But it was enough to make the air feel warmer. From behind the stall came a familiar growl. Gorth. The fat, slimy trader dragged his bulk into view, three eyes blinking slowly, his mouth curled in a mocking grin. There he is, the dumb human who buys garbage and thinks he's in love. Drake's eyes narrowed. But Gorth kept talking. Let me save you some trouble. She's nothing. Orphaned, abandoned, no family, no power. Not even her own kind wanted her. She's weak. Drake's fingers twitched near his sidearm. The entire stall went silent. Even Nera froze. But then, I'll go fix the back shelf, she said quietly, walking away. Drake didn't say a word. Just followed her, shoulders stiff. Behind the stall, they stood between crates of forgotten tech and dusty relics. The noise of the market was muffled. Nera didn't turn around. He's not lying, she said after a while. I am weak. I am alone. Drake frowned. That doesn't mean... I've been alone since I was 3, she interrupted. No name. No bloodline. Just this. She pointed at the junk around her. I sell broken things because that's what I am. Drake stepped closer. Where I'm from, broken things still matter. You humans think everything can be fixed. No, he said, touching her shoulder gently. But some things are worth fighting for. She turned, surprised. Her eyes searched his face. Why do you come here, Drake? Really? He reached into his pouch and pulled out something small. A carved stone she had sold him last cycle. I don't buy these for value, he said. I buy them because they remind me of you. Nera blinked. Why? Because they're rare, he said simply, and misunderstood. Her tentacles curled slightly, a reaction he'd come to recognize. It meant she felt something. Then Drake did something unexpected. He pulled out a small box. She stared at it. What is that? He opened it. Inside was a simple ring, metal that shimmered with swirling colors when it caught the light. Where I'm from, he said. We give this to someone we choose. Choose for what? For everything, Nera froze. The noise of the market disappeared. For a second, only his voice existed. I know this galaxy doesn't care about orphans, he said. But I do. I don't care who you were. I care who you are now. She touched the ring. Her fingers trembled. No one's ever chosen me before, she whispered. Then let me be the first. Suddenly behind them, a rough laugh. Gorth, you serious, human? You'd mate with her? A no-name rat? Even her own kind don't want her blood. Drake turned. Slowly, his jaw clenched. She's worth more than your entire stall. Then take her. Gorth spat. But don't blame me when you regret it. Drake smiled. Cold, dangerous. I don't regret good choices. As they walked away, Nera glanced at him. Will you be back next cycle? I'll be back every cycle, he said, until you believe you're not broken. But behind them, in the shadows, something watched. A pair of black-gloved hands typed a message on a hidden device. Confirmed. Human has made contact with the target. Prepare retrieval. Council must be informed immediately. It wasn't the blaster that made Drake reach for his weapon. It was the silence. Trell Station was never silent. Not in the weapons quarter, not in the spice markets, not even in the waste disposal tunnels. But today, at Nera's stall, there was no sound. No shouting. No trade calls. No laughter. No Nera. Drake Holloway stood still, his hand hovering near his sidearm, eyes scanning the half-empty stall. The shelves were untouched. The trinkets were still there. But the girl who made them feel like treasure was gone. He turned to Gorth. Where is she? Gorth didn't smirk this time. His usual arrogance was missing. The girl? Taken. Contract transferred. Not my problem. Drake stepped forward. Transferred? To who? Gorth tried to smile, but sweat formed on his jelly-like skin. To someone important. Paid well. Said it was official. High Council business. Drake's eyes turned ice-cold. She's not for sale. Gorth shrugged. Everyone's for sale, human. Even you. Drake's hand moved, but a voice interrupted from behind. You must be Drake Holloway. Drake turned fast, his blaster halfway drawn. Standing behind him was a tall, pale blue alien in an elegant coat. His skin was smooth and almost glass-like, with glowing patterns that shifted beneath the surface. 2 Vulgarian guards stood behind him, silent and ready. The stranger bowed slightly. I am Councillor Thalion of the Solarian High Council. I'm here to collect what belongs to us. Drake narrowed his eyes. If you're talking about Nera, she doesn't belong to anyone. Thalion tilted his head. Then you do not know who she truly is. Drake's voice was calm, but full of warning. I know she's someone who deserves better than this station. She is Lady Nera Vidian, Thalion said. Heir to one of the most powerful noble families on Solaria. Her bloodline is ancient. Her value is beyond credits, Drake blinked once. His hand stayed near the blaster. You're lying, Thalion smiled gently. Am I? He handed Drake a small crystal. A projection lit up between them. It showed 2 Solarians, tall, noble, beautiful. The man wore a diplomatic sash. The woman held a baby with silver hair and emerald skin. Nera. Her parents were assassinated 15 years ago, Thalion said. Everyone believed their daughter died too. Until we received a signal, her DNA, unknowingly registered from a marketplace scan. Right here. On Trell, Drake stared at the image. His heart pounded. She never told me any of this. Because she didn't know, Thalion replied. Her memory was erased for her protection. Drake clenched his jaw. Where is she now? With us, the counselor said. Learning who she is, receiving a message from the High Council. She will be ready to leave with us tomorrow. Not without me, Drake growled. The guards took a step forward, but Thalion raised a hand. She will want to see you. I am curious to see how she reacts. Just then, the curtain behind the stall fluttered. Nera stepped out. Her face was pale. Her hands trembled as she clutched a glowing data crystal. Drake, she whispered. They showed me everything. My parents, they weren't in an accident. They were murdered. Drake walked to her, gently placing his hand on her shoulder. I know. I just found out. You knew, she accused, stepping back. No, just now. From him, she looked at the pale blue stranger, her tentacles stiffening in alarm. Who are you? I am your servant, Thalion said, bowing again. Councillor Thalion, assigned to guide your return to House Vidian. Don't call me that, Nera snapped. My name is Nera, just Nera. Thalion's smile faded. That name belongs to a forgotten girl. You are nobility, a symbol, and your bloodline is too valuable to be ignored. Nera looked to Drake. Her voice cracked. Is this why you gave me the ring? Because I'm rich now? Drake's eyes darkened. I gave you that ring before I knew anything. Because I saw you, not your blood. Not your status. A pause. Then softly, do you still want me? She asked, voice shaking. Drake took her hand and placed it against his chest. More than ever. Thalion cleared his throat. This relationship complicates things. Your marriage must be approved by the council. And there are those who— I don't care what the council wants, Nera said. Thalion's smile became cold. You should, because there are people who would kill to keep your past buried, including your human companion. Drake's hand returned to his weapon. Let them try. The water glowed silver. Nera floated in it, weightless, her emerald skin glowing under the soft lights. Around her, ancient chants echoed, spoken in a language she didn't understand, but somehow felt. Her eyes were closed, but her mind was wide open. Drake Holloway hated waiting, especially when the person he loved was behind a door he wasn't allowed to open. A royal guard stood beside him, silent and unmoving. Drake stood in the hallway outside the ritual chamber, clenching and unclenching his fists. She's been in there too long, he growled. The purification must not be disturbed, the guard said. His voice like stone. She's not a tool. She's a person. She is Lady Vidian, heir of the bloodline. The ritual is sacred, Drake stepped forward. The guard's hand touched the hilt of his blade. I'm not going to ask twice, Drake warned, but before it could turn into a fight, the door behind them opened with a soft hum. A soft female voice spoke. She's awake. Inside the chamber, Nera sat on the edge of a glowing pool. A long ceremonial robe covered her now, soft white, trimmed in gold. Her silver hair was styled with delicate crystal pins. She looked older, stronger, wiser, but her eyes were wide, shocked. Drake stepped forward. Nera? Her voice was quiet. I saw them. Who? My parents, she whispered. I saw memories. Real ones. My mother. Sang to me, my father. He told me something. She looked up, her hands trembling. The secret is in your blood. Only a Vidian can unlock it. They must never find it. Drake froze. A secret? Nera nodded. My father created something powerful. A weapon or a shield. Depends who uses it. That's why they killed him. That's why they tried to erase me. And now that you're alive, Drake said slowly, they'll come for me, she finished. And maybe for you too. Later, in their royal quarters, Nera sat beside Drake on a bed made of soft, woven metal and glass. I'm scared, she whispered. He pulled her close. So am I. But I'm not alone anymore. No, he said. You're not. A quiet beat passed between them. Then she asked the question she'd been holding inside. Do you still love me, now that I'm not just a nobody? Drake leaned his forehead against hers. I didn't fall for a princess, he said. I fell for the orphan girl who sold broken things and looked at the stars like they were promises. Her tentacles curled tightly. A gesture of emotion. Show me, she whispered. The stars outside their window glowed brighter than any Drake had seen. In that moment, nothing else mattered. Not thrones, not secrets, not politics, only her. But across the palace, in the shadows of a tall tower, Councillor Thalion stood before a hollow screen. He's too close to her, said the voice from the other side. The human must be removed before she discovers the lab. I agree, Thalion replied coldly. The girl is not ready. She'll never be ready, Thalion said. But once we have the key from her blood, readiness won't matter. That night, while Nera slept, curled beside him, Drake lay awake, eyes open. He couldn't shake the feeling. Something was off. Too smooth. Too easy. 15 years they searched for her. Now they find her. Accept the human lover. Invite him into the palace? No. He didn't trust it. And when Drake didn't trust something, he investigated. Quietly, he rose from the bed and activated a small, hidden device. A holographic map of the palace appeared. Red dots marked security cameras. Blue dots showed movement. Drake's eyes locked onto one hallway. 3 guards stationed outside a door with extra shielding. He smiled grimly. Let's see what's worth hiding. Meanwhile, Nera's dreams swirled with flashing memories. Her father placing a crystal in a hidden vault. Her mother whispering, Live. Nera. No matter what. A sigil, the mark of House Vidian, glowing on a wall. She awoke with a gasp and knew one thing. The truth wasn't in the palace. It was beneath it. Midnight on Solaria. The moons hung low, casting pale silver light over the royal gardens. Flowers shimmered in soft purples and blues. The air was still, too still. Drake Holloway moved through the shadows like a ghost. His steps were silent, his eyes sharp. One hand hovered near the blaster at his hip. He didn't trust this meeting, not after a servant whispered in his ear, "They're going to kill you tonight. Come to the ancestral gardens." She'll be waiting. Now every leaf rustled like a threat. Every statue looked like a hidden god. But when he reached the old stone gazebo near the fountain, there she was, Nera, dressed in ceremonial silk, her emerald skin glowing in the moonlight. Her silver hair was woven with starlight threads. She looked like royalty, but her eyes were Nera, the same girl from the stall, the same girl who once believed she was nothing. "You came," she whispered. "You sent for me," he said, stepping closer. "Wasn't going to let you face this alone." She took his hand. "I heard what they plan. Thalion, the council, Rallick. They want to use me, then silence us both." "Let them try," Drake said. But behind them, a sharp click, a weapon being loaded. Drake spun, pulling Nera behind him. From the shadows came Commander Rallick, flanked by 2 armored guards. "Step away from the lady," he growled. "Not happening," Drake said. "Blaster already drawn. You're outnumbered," Rallick warned. "No," came a voice from the trees. Red laser sights lit up the garden. Hidden figures emerged. Drake's crew, silent, ready. "We've got your back, Captain," said Ava, his second in command. The guards froze. Rallick raised his hand slowly. "This was not an ambush," he said. "It was a test." Drake's aim didn't move. "Then you failed it." But Nera stepped forward. "Let him speak." Rallick looked at her. Something in his face changed. Less soldier, more regret. "I served your parents," he said. "Long ago. I was away when they were murdered. When I returned, I had 2 choices. Serve the killer, or die, Dravik," Nera whispered. Rallick nodded. "He staged the assassination, took control of the council, buried your father's research deep beneath the palace. Only you can unlock it." "What is it?" she asked. Rallick hesitated. "A shield, a planetary defense system, capable of turning an entire planet into an unbreakable fortress. Your father called it the Heart of Vidian." Drake exchanged a look with Nera. "That's why they kept you alive. And why they'll kill you now," Rallick said. "Dravik knows you're remembering. He fears what you'll find." From the corner of the garden, Matriarch Elindra stepped into the moonlight. "Rallick speaks the truth," she said. "I was your mother's closest advisor. I helped smuggle you off-world the night they died." Nera's hands trembled. "All these years." "I thought I was forgotten. You were hidden," Elindra said. "To keep the key safe. To keep hope alive." Nera looked at Drake. "What do I do?" Drake took her hand. "Whatever you choose. I'm with you." Nera turned to the others. "I will not run," she said. "And I will not be used. Tomorrow at the council vote, I will take my place, and I will expose Dravich's lies." Rallick bowed his head. "Then I will stand with you." As the meeting ended and the crew disappeared back into the shadows, Drake and Nera remained in the gazebo. She leaned into him, her voice low. "This world wants me to be a queen. And what do you want?" he asked. She smiled softly. "Just to be with the human who saw me." Before anyone else did, they kissed under the alien moons, quiet, real, defiant. Neither knew what the morning would bring, but they would face it together. The doors to the High Council chamber slammed open. 12 robed aliens turned in surprise. Guards reached for weapons, advisors whispered. But nothing stopped her. Nera walked in like thunder, dressed in silver and emerald ceremonial armor. With her tentacles braided like a war crown, she looked like a queen returning to her stolen throne. At her side walked Drake Holloway, armed, armored, and unbothered. Behind them came Matriarch Elindra, Commander Rallick, and a small team of humans. For the first time in Solaria's history, a human stood in the heart of the council, and no one knew what was about to happen. High Councillor Dravik rose from his grand seat, his fake smile cracking. "Lady Vidian," he said smoothly, "we welcome your presence. This is a day of peace, of unity. Save the speech," Nera said sharply. Gasps echoed through the chamber. She stepped forward. Her voice clear, her hands steady. "This is not a day of unity. This is a day of reckoning." Dravik's eyes narrowed. "Careful, my lady. These are serious words." "Then take them seriously." She turned, nodded once. Drake stepped forward.
He pulled a small black cube from his belt. "Let's show everyone what kind of unity you really believe in." He tapped the device. A hologram sparked to life in the center of the chamber.
The image, a much younger Dravik, speaking to 3 mercenaries in a dimly lit room. His voice, crystal clear. "Kill them both. The parents and the child. Especially the child. The genetic key must not survive." Gasps turned into shouting. A few councillors stood in horror. One collapsed in shock. Dravik's face went white. That recording is fake." Ralik stepped forward. "I was there. You paid them. You took the throne. You lied to the galaxy," Nera said. "You murdered House Vidian, and now you will answer for it." Dravik lunged, not for Nera, but for Drake. A hidden blade flashed from his sleeve, but he was too slow. Drake sidestepped, caught his wrist, and slammed the old alien to the ground. "Try a little faster next time," he growled. Guards surrounded them, but this time, Dravik was the prisoner. Nera turned to the council. "I claim my seat as rightful heir of House Vidian, and I call for a vote of no confidence in High Councillor Dravik. No hesitation. Unanimous." 12 hands raised. Dravik screamed as he was dragged away. "She's just a girl. She's nothing. She's—" The doors shut behind him. Silence fell. Then a voice from the council table. "Lady Nera, what do you intend to do now?" She looked at Drake, then at the chamber of the Empire that once forgot her, and she spoke slowly, but with power. "My father didn't build weapons to conquer. He built a shield to protect the weak, and I will finish what he started." Later that night, on the balcony of the palace, Drake stood beside her. Below them, the lights of the capital twinkled. Above, 2 alien moons shone like promises. "You did it," Drake said. She didn't answer at first. Then, "No, we did it." She leaned into him. "Who would have thought?" The forgotten orphan girl, and the human who bought broken trinkets. Drake grinned. "You messed with humans," he said, teasing. "Bad move," she laughed. "No, lucky move." "Lucky me. Lucky us," he corrected. Her tentacles curled gently around his arm. The council had approved their formal union. The first human-Solarian bond in recorded history. Tomorrow, they'd become more than a couple. They'd become a symbol, and in the shadows of stars, they'd lead not with fear, but with fire. The enemy fleet came without warning. 100 ships. Black. Silent. Armed. They dropped from hyperspace like vultures over Solaria's twin moons, surrounding the planet in minutes. No signal. No demands. Just war. Inside the palace war room, alarms screamed. Officers shouted. Panic spread, but Drake Holloway stood still and smiled. "These guys never learn," he said, loading a fresh power cell into his rifle. Nera stood beside him, her robe replaced by a sleek armored suit bearing the Vidian crest. Her emerald skin glowed under the red alert lights. Her silver hair was tied back, crown on her head. "They're not here for a battle," she said. "They're here to erase me. Again. Then let's make it a mistake they'll never forget." She looked at him. "Together?" He grinned. "Always. In orbit." The lead enemy ship activated its main cannon. Charged, locked, and then everything stopped. Every screen across the planet turned blue. A single message appeared. Shield code accepted. Activating Heart of Vidian. Below the palace, a hidden structure awakened. One buried for 15 years. Massive generators roared to life. Ancient tech lit up like a second sunrise. A protective shield, invisible and planetary-wide, surged into place, stopping the cannon's blast in mid-air. On the enemy ship. Chaos. What is that? How is this possible? Who activated the failsafe? Then, silence, followed by a whisper from one of their own crew, trembling as they read the data. It's Vidian tech, tied to her bloodline. She didn't just return, she inherited a weapon that makes this planet untouchable. Back in the war room, Drake turned to Nera. They can't touch you now, or anyone else on this world. But what if they try again? She asked. He holstered his rifle. Then I'll be waiting. 3 days later, the enemy fleet was gone, not destroyed. Just humiliated. One human, one Solarian heir, and a lost piece of technology had defeated them without firing a single shot. News spread fast. Human mercenary marries. Solaria's lost queen. The orphan is now the shield of a planet. You messed with humans. Bad move. The phrase went viral across the outer colonies. Even Zarkalian warlords flinched when they heard the name Drake Holloway. Their wedding was small, private, and held under the twin moons, just as they had promised. No crown. No throne, just two people who found each other when no one else saw them. Nera wore a soft silver dress, no armor. No ceremony. Drake wore his old mercenary jacket. They said their vows in the same garden where they once stood as targets. And when they kissed, the stars seemed to blink. Later, on the palace balcony, they stood in silence. He held her hand. Her tentacles curled around his wrist. Still think I made a lucky move? She asked softly. No, he said. Why not? Because I didn't win a queen. He turned to her, eyes glowing under the moonlight. I won the one soul in this galaxy who never gave up. Not on herself. Not on love. Not on me, she smiled. You humans are dramatic. We're also impossible to break, he replied. Behind them, the capital lights shimmered. The heart of Vidian pulsed beneath the surface. And across the stars, the galaxy whispered a warning. Never underestimate a human, especially one who loves.